All right, man. We are good. Nic Askew, how you doing, man?
Hi, I'm doing well. I'm doing super well. It's a great day to be a bison, so
Mhm.
all is good.
Absolutely, man. You guys are killing it, and it's being led by you. So, congratulations on all your success, man.
Thank you so much. It's been an incredible season from start to finish, and I'm so proud of these young men and these young women for all the work that they've been doing. And it's great when it works out. And this season it's been working out pretty good.
Yeah, well, it's been an incredible journey, but this season for sure. Now, when you say it's a great day to be a Bison, you are the head. Just for those people that don't know, you're the head coach of the swim team for both the men and women for Howard University, right?
That's right. That's right.
Now, are you the tennis coach as well?
I am. I'm the director and head coach for both sports.
All right, we're gonna have to get into that because I have no idea how you do that. So it's like, all right,
Honestly, I don't know how I do it either. It just,
that
but the work gets done.
that freaks me out. There's not enough time in the day, no way that you could do that. But anyway, listen, you just won the conference on the swimming side of things. Where's this trophy? Show me this thing.
Oh yeah, let me put that in there. How's that?
Oh
Here we go. Let me pass
yes,
that
look at
thing over here.
that, man. So
Yeah,
it's a Northeast Conference.
yeah.
Man, wow, congrats. So, like, is this the first time in program's history you've won it or not?
This is the first time that we've won a conference championship in over 30 years.
Wow.
Prior to this, the team competed in the NEC as well as we've had several different conferences, honestly. Southern States we used to be in when I was swimming in
Mm,
undergrad, as well as the Northeast Conference. We had previously been, before me, there was a tri state conference. And before that, there was a CIAA. And before that, we were part of the Black National Championship Conference, way in like the 70s and 80s, I believe.
mm. Wow, that's awesome. So tell me what's the Northeast Conference now? What's it comprised of?
So there's a total of 9 teams on the women's side and 4 teams on the men's side. They just brought the conference back to sponsor men's championship. About this is the third year.
Mm,
It was on like a 12 to maybe 15 year, where they did not sponsor the men's championship. Again, the landscape at NCAA, swimming and diving, where teams were being cut, and there's the realignment. And unfortunately, in the early 2000s, I think 2004 or five maybe, they stopped sponsoring the men's championship because it just wasn't enough teams to host a conference championship. But thankfully, they brought it back. This is their third championship. Even had a championship through the COVID period. Last year was our first year in the conference competing. And then this year was our second year competing in the conference.
wow, that's awesome. You've been there for a while, coaching and swimming yourself there as well. But you kind of hit national headlines in the past couple of months where your team was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Man, that's amazing. How'd that come about?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy how it's all worked out. The story behind the story is the author of the article actually has a daughter that swims for Georgetown,
Mm,
and we competed against Georgetown last year, and Georgetown was just completely taken aback by the atmosphere and the competitiveness, the camaraderie, and the coach was like, "Listen, we want to swim you guys again next year, but we only want to swim you guys here because of this environment is just,
mm,
something that they had never experienced as a team, as a coaching staff ever before. And um, the the author of the article, when he found out, we're going to be doing it again, was wanted to, find out more. What has caused us to have this type of environment? What are some of the things that we have been doing behind to create what everyone that has normally been here, so excited to come back and support. And again, being an HBCU, the only HBCU that has a swimming and diving program, to be able to have this type of electricity, this type of atmosphere at an HBCU for a sport like swimming and diving, where minorities are underrepresented, and then also to have the stands packed every single home meet with people of color is just an environment that you're not going to see anywhere else. So he dug really deep, and we had great conversations, and found out some of the things that have been leading to the success that we've previously had. And, we're just super grateful that now, we're nationwide or even global at this point, because Sports Illustrated, I mean, I don't know how much bigger you can get in terms of sports in general than to be featured on a platform like that.
Yeah, it was a cool cover, incredible shot too, like beautiful shot of you and the team kind of standing around the pool, but and the headline read, I'm going to read it here. It said, "Nobody in America can offer what we have." What did that mean? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, that was, something we had spoken, or I'd spoken, in conversation. The context was more of in the moment. The writer was there at Battle at the Burr and in October when we competed against Georgetown. And, we were taking into account of the atmosphere.
Right.
Again, having the pack stands. I mean, we sold out a swim meet at an HBCU.
Tell us what HBCU is, because I'm international too. So for those that don't know.
Yeah, so HBCU means historically black college or university. And in the 60s, it was documented by government, by the federal government, to designate the institutions that opened during a time where essentially if you weren't white, then you were not able to get a college education. You
Mm.
could not go to certain schools. So HBCUs were founded as a place where anyone could go and get an education, a higher education, no matter of their racial background. So that's where they were founded. Howard University was founded in 1867. We're actually celebrating our charter day this past weekend,
Wow.
and several other institutions. There's about 100, a little bit over 100 in total in the U.S. that are designated as HBCUs.
And HBCU, getting a little bit of feedback. Are you hearing the feedback?
No,
Okay.
not on my side.
Um, the HBCU, it doesn't mean that every single person who attends the college is black or has to be black. Is that correct?
Correct. It's just a designation, given during the time where, again, if you any person that was not white could didn't have a place to go for higher education. So, there is no exclusion for your racial background or anything or discrimination because of that. It was actually formed quite the opposite. It was formed in an effort to include everyone. Howard, and just like other HBCUs, are extremely diverse. Most of the students are usually from the Black diaspora, so coming from the racial background, ancestry from the continent of Africa and through the transatlantic slave trade. But there's a white population, Asian, Hispanic. There some every background is absolutely capable, and even on our team we've had such great diversity as a part of our team, in the past and even currently.
Now, in terms of attracting black athletes, black swimmers, I mean, it's underrepresented, like you said, in the whole swimming community, uh, especially in North America. Let's just focus on that in itself. I've had many black swimmers come onto my podcast and talk about the challenges that they faced in order to have to go through what they went through. Basically being surrounded by white swimmers in their progression through the ranks. So that's nice to know that there's a place where black athletes themselves can identify with other black athletes, at least, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's again what makes it so special, because when we have black and brown individuals come to be a part of our program, it's for a lot of them, it's the first time where they're surrounded by people who share the same experiences, as them growing up and typically being the only person of color, or only minority a part of the program. Because we know, we look at the USA Swimming, only about 2% identify as African American in all of USA Swimming, and it's even less than that that are African American in all of NCAA swimming and diving. I actually heard from someone that our team makes up a third of all the black and brown individuals at the NCAA level, and that's we've got a roster size of about 45 to 50. That's crazy to think
Wow,
that we are making up close to a third of the population.
that's
It's
incredible.
great for us in terms of continuing to push forward, but there needs to be a lot more done in order to raise those numbers so people have options. You know, if you desire to have an HBCU educational experience and want to continue to pursue swimming, you know, Howard can be an option. There needs to be other HBCUs, but of course you can also choose any other school that, you know, is going to be the best fit for you.
How do you recruit then in terms of looking for certain athletes, right? Like you want to have opportunities where you provide for Black athletes in and itself, right? You also want to have a successful team, I'd imagine, a winning team. So there's this balance between picking an athlete that might help your team and then picking an athlete that would open up an opportunity for them, right? So I don't know what the balance is for you. So like when you're going through the recruiting process, what are the challenges with that, right?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is we recruit against every school in the country,
Right.
you know, because we're looking for the most elite student athletes that we could possibly find,
Right.
to be a part of our team. And it's not exclusive to African Americans or Black or Brown or even minority. It's really about who wants to be at Howard, who desires to be, you know, in this atmosphere, at an HBCU swimming for this program. And that could be anyone, you know, that could be, you know, any person across the country or either worldwide, as long as they want to be here. Because as I talk to parents and I talk to other swimmers and divers, the number one thing that you should be looking for is that you want to be in that environment, because there's no perfect institution, there's no perfect program. You have to be able to sit back and be like, you know what, I can endure whatever's, you know, going on right now, whether what trouble or challenge that may be, because I want to be here. If you didn't want to be there, then that challenge is going to go from, you know, a molehill to a mountain very fast. And so that's the biggest thing. And yeah, we're recruiting against the rest of the country. You know, in my recruitment class that we were looking at this year, you know, we were neck and neck with some of the top swimming programs and top schools in the country. Some we beat out, and then some we lost to.
Tell me this then. So in terms of giving an opportunity to a Black athlete and saying to them, look, we're a Division I school and we can take you as far as you want to go. Like let's say they have even Olympic aspirations.
Yeah.
What do you think your program can offer for someone like that, where you could get in a true talent and say, we can take you all the way, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, a couple of my selling points are, number one, look at our track record. You know, we have a track record and a blueprint that has been able to develop swimmers, and develop divers. When they come in, our goal is to make them even faster than they thought they could be. And we feel like every season we've been able to do just that for the heavy majority, you know, looking at the times they came to Howard with to the times that they're at now for personal best. So we're really managing and monitoring, you know, that as kind of a guideline. Are they getting faster? Are they hitting PBs or PRs? You take one person into account in particular, Miles Simon, who was our U.S. Olympic trials qualifier, for the 2020 2021 Olympics trials. And when he came to Howard, his very first tapered meet, which was mid-season of his freshman year, he was going 22.00. Georgia State Championships, I think he was 21 high. But the first time he tapered for us in his freshman year, he was 22.00. And now he's number 45 in the country, sitting at 19.4, 19.42 to be exact. And, you know, just like I know, to shave off that much time in a 50, we know we're doing things the right way, and being really meticulous about the process. We have several other swimmers that are doing, you know, similar things, and we're super proud of, because that's a tough side, especially on our women's side, to be able to continue to show progress and get faster as a female at the collegiate level. That's very difficult. And we've been able to year after year show that we can hit personal best at the end of the year, and show that development. So that's one of my big selling points, you know, to our recruits and the people that, you know, we're interested in and that are interested in us. And the other thing is environment. You know, going back to that whole comfort level, where are you going to be the most comfortable? Where do you feel is going to be the best fit? And a lot of times it's not just by who are the other fast swimmers in the program. It's really about, this is a place where I'm going to spend a ton of my time, you know, every single day. And I want to feel good about it. I want to feel good, you know, being surrounded with the people that I am. And that's not to say that you can't be comfortable somewhere else. It's just that we really focus attention on it here. And if this is the environment where you feel like you can thrive, because we believe in our program, iron sharpens iron, right? We don't know who's
Mm.
going to hit what time at what point, but we know if we all work towards it, then it's like a popcorn machine, right? Where you're just going to pop out at your time when you're ready, when it's hot enough for you to do so.
Are you guys, do you have any disadvantages that you feel like the program still is lacking, that needs, facility wise, anything that, like, when you look at your program, you compare it to other programs, do you feel like, oh, we don't have that, but we've got this, how do you assess all that?
Yeah, we try not to focus on the things we don't have, and especially things that are outside of our control. So let's take, for instance, we don't have an Olympic-sized pool, right? There's nothing we can do about that in any foreseeable future. Even if someone blessed us with,
What do you have?
enough, we have a 6-lane, 25-yard pool with a 1-meter springboard.
Wow.
Um, so even if somebody blessed us
Yeah.
with the money that it
Hmm.
takes to purchase or build that out, that's still 3 to 5 years out from now, because we're in Washington D.C. We have similar circumstances or challenges in terms of building something new because of space as all the other schools here in Washington D.C. So we try not to focus on that. We try to focus on what can we improve. Right. When I first took on the program, myself and the coaching staff, we wanted to improve the aesthetics. When we first got here, the entire pool area was this, really dull, gray, just boring and blah, and you know, just nothing that would make you excited about spending 2.5 hours grinding
Right.
there. So we bought paint and we painted the place, and we got it very bright and vibrant. We loaded up some graphics, with a new logo and everything, and that was just one of the many things that we decided to do. And um, on the competitive side, we wanted to make our swim meets events, versus just, okay, we're competing against team, invite your friends and whoever, and your parents are going to show up, and that we wanted to bring in a community that's not normally in a swimming environment, and we wanted them to have a good time. So every single one of our home meets, we have an on deck DJ, and that DJ is spinning all types of music, different generational music, and the vibes are so amazing during that time that it's keeping the attention and the interest and the energy. And what we found out, Brett, which was really cool, the higher the energy in the stands, the faster our swimmers swam and the better our divers, would dive. And then the energy would turn up that much more in the stands. So it was this beautiful relationship of drawing that in. And then we started offering food. We had food vendors at our swim meets. And then the other thing internally we had to work on, we had to make sure we were giving people a product that they would, really want to see. So we had to start winning more.
Mm.
And when we have all three of those things together, I mean, the environment, again, we sold out a swim meet at an HBCU. We sold over 2,000, seats. We had an overflow section for our big meet, which was the Battle at the Burr, the home opener. And every swim meet after that has been a standing room only. We have 422 stadium seats in our natatorium. And for each one of our home meets, there were no less than 500, 600 people in attendance, standing outside of the window, standing up in the, behind the bleachers and everything else.
And that doesn't sound like a black thing. That sounds like good business to me. That sounds like a blueprint for what every swim coach in the country should be doing.
It's been so great for the sport. This year, because of the noise we created at the very beginning of the year with the Battle at the Burr, other teams started taking notice. I'm sure you've heard of some of them that started offering, more things to make it an event. And we're glad to see that, because we love this sport.
Mm.
And it's not something that we think that needs to be just exclusive here at Howard or an HBCU. It needs to change the tide for all of swimming and diving, because again, being in swimming and diving at a collegiate level and knowing how many teams are being cut every single year and for different reasons, if you had more support, because people don't want this environment, this situation to become extinct, man, just think about how many more programs will come back and have better support, more people in the stands, more people talking about it. And again, we don't talk about swimming enough unless it's an Olympic year.
Right.
We're doing more and more now on different platforms, but if we can do this and generate this every single year or every single season during the collegiate season and carry that over, our sport will thrive that much more. And yes, you're right. It was a business decision for
Mm.
us. Being the only HBCU, that puts us here, but it also puts us on notice that it could be us at any given time. And we don't want that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm trying to make sense of this, right? You've got three daughters of your own. You
Yeah.
got a beautiful wife. You got a family, and then you're running this team. How many assistants do you have, by the way?
So we have four,
Oh,
four on the staff, and then we have a couple volunteers that come in a couple times a week, to help out. And we have an amazing team manager.
all right. Here's the part that I don't understand, though. Okay, you got all that. You're doing everything any other Division One coach is doing, and you're getting slammed, and you're getting your time is limited. Okay, you're doing everything they're doing, and you're trying to compete with them at the same time, and then you're running the tennis program. I can make no sense of this. What's going
Yeah,
on, man?
yeah. I guess I'm just built different.
Yeah,
Or,
built different.
or
We've
pretty.
all got 24 hours in the day, man. Very limited too.
Yeah, it's the life I've known, forever. Just now, people are starting to recognize that wow, you do both. My two worlds, swimming world and tennis world, were pretty separate for a long time, and now everyone knows that I do both and can do both. In college, I did both sports. I was a dual sport athlete. I swam and played tennis all 4 years, so I know the schedule very well. And even after college, I was still coaching swimming and I was also still coaching tennis, to the point where it's just natural. I know the
Yeah, but the
cadence.
head coach isn't a head coach either. Like, I think this is where people get lost. The head coach is a manager. You're managing people. You're recruiting. You're dealing with alumni. You're dealing with the university on that side of things. Like, you're doing everything. So like we get lost in this coaching thing. It's not just a coaching thing. It's
Yeah.
a management thing. Like, how on earth? Where? Tell me the timeline of your day. Then walk me through a day.
Oh, depends on where we are in the season, but in some of the busiest times, the good thing, swimmers, we work early, right? So we start morning practice. I'm very particular about time and organization. We break water at 5:30 a.m.
Mm,
During the week. We go until 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm in the office doing administrative work, usually meeting with my tennis staff right directly afterwards, talking about that. Then on the court, have opportunities to do individual sessions or one or a small group. Back in the office around noon, 1 o'clock, working lunch. So I'm on the computer, and while I'm eating my lunch, then back on the pool deck by 3:30 ish, each day. Finish that, and then depending on the season, I'll run out to tennis practice with the group, the team practice, and then until probably about 8:30 at night, doing administrative work. I take a lot of calls from my phone, on my ride home, on my commute home, and then get home just enough time to put the girls to bed and talk about their day and pray with them, and then back on my phone for loose ends, and yeah, get up, do it all over again.
I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what's going on. Nick, listen, man. Listen, how old are you?
I'm 44.
44. Okay. You look
Yeah.
young too. I mean, I don't know how you've managed to stay young and keep that schedule, man. You look like you're about 35 and you're killing it. But
Yeah.
listen, for the people out there listening to this, for the alumni, come on, like, look, you got to pick sides, man. Honestly, you just at some point you got to. I appreciate your work ethic and I
Yeah.
appreciate the standard you're setting and what you're doing. You're going to burn out though, man. There's no person on earth that can handle that type of schedule, where you're managing that many people across multiple sports. Like, it's just not fair on you or your family. Or at some
Yeah.
point, someone's gonna hurt. And
Yeah.
you're doing a phenomenal job. Don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't seem like that's sustainable for a
Yeah.
long period of time. And I just worry about you, man. I really do. I worry about you.
No, no, thank you for that. And it's definitely takes its toll. There's no question about that. But I've got a great support staff, and I know that season is not going to last but so long. And I'll move more into the administrative role. I'll take some steps back. Because it does. It takes a toll on the body. It takes a toll on the mind. But I'm not going to say it's easy, but it is more manageable because of the great support group that I have in our coaching staff and our administration and our department. And they know we've had the conversations about what this transition will look like, what my role will eventually look like. We are hiring an associate head coach for the swimming side, which will allow me not to have to be on deck every single time. But like I know, those relationships, those bonds, that rapport you build when you're on deck and when you're accessible, are really what are going to lead to continued success. So
Mm.
I'll back off a little bit, but at the
Mm.
same time, I'll be right there for them, all the way through the process.
Are they at least giving you double pay, man?
I hope they're watching, and I hope they heard that loud and clear.
Yeah, they should be. You should be fighting for that too, man. Come on. I mean, I appreciate you got an incredible alumni team, of supporters, and they're coming to the meets and they're getting behind this. But listen, you're on the cover of Sports Illustrated now, man. Like, you're doing some stuff that's people are noticing. You either need to be paid for that, you need to be compensated some way, or your team needs to be supported better.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to get something out of this. So it's just
yeah,
like I'm a big advocate for you and your team right now. I want people listening to say, hey, how can we pour into this even more, other than just filling up the stands and coming
right.
to, eat and listen to the DJ. Like, there's more to it than that. They're going to burn you out, and this team's going to end up hurting itself if they don't give you more support. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, no, no, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. And, we've always done a pretty good job of fundraising, but, obviously with the better we do, the more we actually do need, the higher the level of the athlete, the more we want to make sure that we have the things that they need in order to develop. And, people can go to the website, hubison.com, go to the swimming page or even the tennis page, and,
hmm
and hit the support and be able to donate directly to the team and to the team's needs. We do have a capital campaign, that our major gift campaign that I just launched this year. That's was kind of kicked off at the Hall of Fame meet, the Battle at the Burr. Two things that we know are super important is we got to have competitive coaching salaries,
hmm
so that the good Lord has me here now, but if the good Lord places me somewhere else or something, we want to make sure that there's a great coach in the queue that will be also compensated, because if they offer chump change, then you're going to get not so great of a coach. The second side is scholarships. So we know
hmm
that the cost of attendance at universities is continually going up, but scholarships haven't increased. So we want to be able to have a scholarship funding, from donations that can support the difference. A lot of times, what will be the difference maker between that recruit choosing our school, wanting to be here, but financially it makes more sense to go somewhere else.
Have you had opportunities to leave? Have people reached out to you and say, "Hey, we want you to come here, maybe do this, maybe join some other programs"? I mean, it's okay to be honest with that. Like, have people been trying to steal you from here?
Well, the nature of the business is when you're successful, people, want to have conversations. And I've been very fortunate to be in position that I am now, and people are taking notice, and we'll see how things continue to operate. I'm flattered for sure, by the different opportunities that may come across. But there's one thing is, as an alum, I have a certain amount of loyalty, to the university, and I feel like there's more that I can accomplish. When I first took over the program, I had a long list of things I want to accomplish, and we're only halfway there.
What's next then, in terms of some things that you do want to accomplish? You've got this trophy now, and you're winning conference championships, and so what's the next progression for your team?
Yeah, so the men's team was the one that won the conference championship. Our ladies last year placed seventh overall. This year they placed fourth overall. The next step for us on the women's side is to win the conference championship.
hmm
And I think we're going to be in contention as early as next year with our recruiting class that's coming in of some phenomenal, swimmers and divers. And then, the list for 2024s, 2025s are only going to help with that situation. We're also going to attend the National Invitational Championship in Elkhart, Indiana, this upcoming Thursday to compete. And we have one NCAA B qualifier in Miles Simon. He has the 50 and the 100 freestyle cuts. So we'll wait and see, if he'll get accepted into the big dance. But the next thing is to have more, more invite qualifiers and more NC2A qualifiers, winning the women's championship as well as the men's championship. I mean, this year, for the first time in all of Howard swimming and diving history, the men's team and the women's team both had winning dual meet records for the season. So we were above 500 for both of those. And that's just another milestone moment for us. So with the Olympic years coming up, we've had Olympians in the past. We've had Olympic trials qualifiers, the U.S. Olympic trials qualifiers in the past. We want more, and we want to get that number up to the point where, again, we're on everyone's radar as not just, hey, this team is doing well and from a business side of things, they're good for the sport, but we also want to be, dangerous in competition, dangerous in terms of, hey, we really want to swim that team because they've got incredible swimmers and divers, and that's going to bring out the best in us. Because again, this is a competitive field, and that's what we want to be able to do. And we don't want anyone to be like, oh no, that's a waste of our time to try to compete against them because they're not on our level. We're showing that we're getting higher and higher, and we want to compete against the best.
How close are we, think, to getting an athlete to the big dance, to the NCAA championship and competing there?
Again, with Miles being right there, selections I think are this Wednesday or something like that. We'll see if he gets in.
What numbers is he sitting at?
He's sitting at 45 right now. After this weekend, they had the last chance events. He was at 36. We'll see what that magic number is, but we understand where we are. He does have a fifth year, so there's a really good chance for him and the other seniors that did so well this year to be able to come back either at Howard or wherever else they might think is a better fit for them, or the best fit rather. And we'll continue to get closer and closer.
Well, I'd love to see him there. If listen, I'll just offer my services. If you need me in any way, shape, or form, phone call, you want me to come out there and do a couple of workouts with you guys or anything in terms of helping him get to that big dance, I'd love to see you guys have a sprinter at the big show. Get him under 19 seconds, man. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know if I can do much, but I can help in some respects. So if there's ever you need me, man, you got I'll give you my number. You got my email, but I'll give you my number.
Yeah.
And I'd love to help in any way,
That's huge, Brett. I really do appreciate it. I think I'm definitely going to take you up on that. We really thought he was going to go under this year. He didn't have the best start. Just speaking to the character of Miles, we knew when we were trying to, as a team, win the conference championship, we're very sprint loaded. But there's some areas where we weren't as deep. So we took the opportunity. We moved Miles into the 200 IM, which he won the event at conference, out instead of the 50 free because they were on the same day. So he sacrificed that opportunity. We put him as lead off of the relay for the 2 free relay, and that's when he hit 19.4. And he didn't have a great start. Normally has an explosive start. He had more of an average start. So I think he's definitely super close to being under 19, and we'll definitely take you up on that. I'll offer that to him and see if that'll also entice him to do that 5th year with us.
Yeah, I'd love to help any way I can. Now, listen, the writing's on the wall, guys. Administration, pay this man what he's due. Okay. Anyone that's listening to this, I'd be picking up the phone to try and get you to come coach at my program. I'll tell you that for sure. You're doing awesome stuff. And then, the alumni, support this team, support this man. Okay. Let's throw some cash at this team, and let's get the facilities where we might need them. It might be new blocks, it could be anything, but let's throw some cash at what you're doing. Let's get you better paid, and let's hopefully split some time where you can spend a bit more time with your family as well. Okay.
I appreciate that, Brett. Thanks so much, man.
Yep. Okay. Nice to see you, Nick. We'll be in touch. All right.
All right. Go Bison.